But he said, "Oh, my Lord, please send someone else." Then the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. Do you know why Moses decided to go back to Egypt? Moses' decision to go back to Egypt was not for the miracle of God, but for the wrath of God. We often think that we can do everything only if God can show us miracles. But that does not appear to be true. In fact, it was the wrath of God that changed mind of Moses. But God is so wonderful. Moses now has to go to Egypt. When Moses is just about to go into Egypt, God says to Moses, it is Exodus 4:19, "And the Lord said to Moses in Midian, Go back to Egypt, for all the men who are seeking your life are dead." In fact, that was what Moses needed to hear right at that moment. What Moses wants to hear was his safety guaranteed? The reason Moses hesitated to go to Egypt, as all men do, was because he wanted to save his life. The serpent turned into a staff, and the leprosy in his hand restored. But more than any of these miracles, what he needed so desperately was the confirmation that all those who tried to kill Moses had disappeared. It shows that the miracles of God do not always change a person's heart. As I highlighted several times before, to the people who sought after more signs and miracles. For their faith, Jesus said these people were an evil and adulterous generation. When they followed Jesus and said, "Show us more miracles if you are the Son of God," Jesus said, "That is wicked." What we must understand is that the miracle of God itself cannot change our hearts. In other words, a miracle itself cannot break our hardened hearts. So God was angry. To Moses, God is eternal and unchangeable. In other words, it is impossible to understand God with our time on earth and human intelligence. Don't you think so? I also prayed when I was young. Lord, I will believe in you if you appear once in my dream. I will believe in you if you show me a sign. Most of us think this way. But even if God shows all of it, it is pretty difficult for humans to grasp and understand the concept and attributes of God because of our finite minds. In other words, God knows well that miracles will not save humans, even if he shows all the infinite things to mankind. What does this mean? We may not be interested in anything other than our lives. An interest like Moses. Did the faith of disciples become deeper and stronger after they saw the miracle of the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes? No. After the miracle, when Jesus did not get on the boat, the disciples wandered and they again despair. After that, Jesus appeared and rebuked his disciples for lack of faith. Did the faith grow stronger when the disciples saw Jesus walking on the water? No, it didn't. Even the disciples met Moses and Elijah, who were not of this world on the high mountain, but it did not strengthen their faiths. If the signs and miracles keep our faith strong, God would continue to perform them even today. Why? You say that God loves us so much that he does not want even a single soul to go to hell. If thousands of people could return to God by miracles, why wouldn't he do so? Shouldn't he continue to do it repetitively because God loves us so much? But God does not always do it. If that is the case, the Israelites wouldn't have distrust God as they entered the desert after crossing the Red Sea. But we know that as soon as they crossed the Red Sea by the great miracle, they blamed God in front of the bitter water of Marah. So what I would like to say is that although miracles can break the orders and rules of nature, they cannot break our unbelieving and impenitent hearts. Miracles might not be the answer to all the roots of faith. What moved Moses? It was wrath of God against sin.